Chris Patton. How are you today, Chris?
What? No. I'm doing well. It's been a very good weekend. It's been a long weekend, but it's been a good weekend.
It is. It's a Sunday of NDK09.
Yup.
How have you enjoyed the convention thus far?
I had a great time. Better time than I even had last year.
Really?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have a good time next year.
How many years have you been going to NDK?
This is it's my second year in a row, but it's my third time here.
Okay. When were you here the first time?
Oh my gosh, it was like 05.
05?
Yeah.
A bit of a while.
Yeah, you were like 4.
I'm not quite that young.
Oh no? Okay, good.
Alright.
Be weird to be interviewed by a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Strange.
Alright, so people watching this probably know that you're a voice actor, but what are some companies and roles that you've done just on a regular basis?
I've worked primarily as a voice actor for Funimation Entertainment and ADV Films, and some of the roles I've done, let's see, Greed in Full Metal Alchemist, Sosuke Saguro in Full Metal Panic, Fakir and Princess Tutu, Reo Dahada in Super Gals, Ayato Kamina and Razafan. Very recently, I played this guy whose name is either Kum or Cum in Tower of Druaga. My director insists it's Cum because she thinks that's funny, giggity. I played Graham Spector in Bakano. I played a character I can't name in D. Gray Man. I played a character in Soul Eater that I can't name. I was in Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. I played Creed Diskins in Black Cat. I've done about 130 animes. I'm not going to go through all of them.
Yeah, I don't know if we have quite that much time. I'd like to go with everyone, but anyway. So you've just listed some of the more notable roles.
Yes.
What are some that you're particularly proud of that you?
Iki and Air Gear, Shofu Komachi and Guyver. I love Ayato and Razafan. I think that's probably like one of the Sato and Welcome to the NHK.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's probably the hardest I've ever worked at a part, and hard part, and in fact, I signed a lot of NHK today at the autograph session. People were like, people always have really nice things to say about my performance in that show. I don't know. I also was in this movie, this Shinkai movie called Place Promised in Our Early Days, and I played the lead, Hiroki, and not many people have seen it, and you should. It's sort of like, it's Miyazaki-esque. It's really beautiful just to look at, but the story's great too. I don't know which camera I'm supposed to be favoring, so I'm just kind of splitting the difference. Like,
Probably should have numbered them.
Yeah, it's all good. People are laughing at me because I make innuendo. Like, I do this panel at cons called Chris Patton Shares Too Much because I say dirty things. And right now I'm pretty much reining it in, although you wouldn't know that. But I am. I'm holding back. I've got some Red Bull in my system, and I've got my actor's talisman around my neck, so bring it. What am I talking about? Go ahead. Next question.
I was just saying, do you want to elaborate more on the movie that you said people haven't really seen? It's Miyazaki-esque.
No.
No, don't want to?
Nope.
Okay. Okay.
Place Promised in Our Early Days. See it. There's my elaboration. No, it's this really beautiful story about 3 kids. It's sort of a love triangle. It's not dirty. It's this sort of a love triangle that happens between these 3 kids who go to junior high and high school together. And
oh my god.
His crotch is vibrating. It always happens when guys sit next to me. And you are all over 18, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So I was like, about to feel really dodgy and disgusting. Anyway, so that's Place Promised in Our Early Days. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, buy it. Okay, so next question, kind of just more, how did you get into voice acting,
Really? Are you really asking me that?
Not everyone went to the panel, not everyone knows this. Starting with the formalities.
9. Okay. I got into voice acting. I was doing theater. That's how most people have sort of gotten into voice acting. It's by doing another form of acting.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of theater in Houston, and I was working on this one show with this girl. This girl was in the cast with me, named Jessica Calvello. And if any of you are old school, like fans of ADV's work, she used to be in a lot of the old ADV titles, like Dirty Pair, and she was Excel and Excel Saga.
Was she?
Yes, and she came up to me at rehearsal one day for the show, and she was like, you should go audition for this little company in town called ADV. And I was like, what? Huh? And we started talking about it, and I was like, that sounds like fun. but being the typical actor I was at that time in my life, stupid kid, I procrastinated and waited and waited. I ended up waiting 2 years before I went and auditioned for them. That was in '99. I auditioned, and in like 2 weeks, I landed my first tiny role there, giggity. And after that, they kept calling me in to do more stuff, and I landed my first sort of big role, which was Daily Wong in Bubblegum Crisis 2040. He was a gay cop. What up? And that's just 420. That's just 50 written in pink, right? Gay cop. I don't know what would be a good sign for gay cops. Like, they need to make a whole musical about. I'm getting ready to go on a bad tangent, so I'm going to stop. I was in Bubblegum Crisis 2040. Then I was in another show called Gasaraki. Then after that, I landed a role in a show called. I can't remember. My first lead role was in Gasaraki. I played Yushiro Goa. I actually signed one of those today. I'm like, this is from like 2000. Holy crap. Wow. So I've been doing this for 10 and a half years. In February of 2010, I will be entering my 11th year as a voice-over artist.
Impressive. Also, just if you want to go on a tangent, go ahead, because we've got time and I do not have an hour's worth of questions. So.
Okay.
Did you really know what anime was before you started?
I did. I mean, I wasn't like, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't really a big fan. It just was something I had never been heavily exposed to. I had seen like Akira, and I'd watched Speed Racer as a kid, and I knew a little bit about the subculture.
Yeah.
And really beyond that, that's all I can tell you. But I learned a lot about it really fast.
Okay.
And I used to really like watching it. But I'm very frank about this. I don't watch it in my spare time. I don't watch it for fun because it comprises so much of my living, of my life, that I don't. It's like I do theater too, but when I go home, I don't read plays all day long. And and like I love acting and I love doing anime and but see, I also do voiceover for commercials. I hate commercials, but I don't hate anime, so there's a difference there. I used to be really into a lot of shows, but then when you're working on it that much, like I can name 2 or 3 times in my life when I was working on 16 or 17 anime at once.
Wow. And
I was the lead in like half the shows. So you're putting so much of your life, and then when you're not in the booth recording it, you're either at home watching it because you want to criticize your own performance, or you're at a con promoting it. And so you're just like, and the last thing you want to do in your spare time is watch more anime. So I got into watching anime a lot, like in 2002, 2003, through like 2005, and then it was just like saturation, overload, and I had to like. And now there's not. If I'm in a show that I think is really cool, I'll watch it, but I don't even watch the stuff I'm in anymore.
Oh yeah, it might be kind of weird. I don't go around reading our website just for
right,
fun.
Exactly. I'll check out other people's work, and stuff like that. But the only time I'll watch stuff I'm in is if I don't really remember how I delivered the performance, and I'm very self-critical, and I'll check it out and say, did I suck in it? Did I suck? I didn't suck. Okay, good. So, but no, I wasn't like, I know of like 3 voice actors who are huge anime fans before they even got into it. But I really do. I'll tell you what I will. I'll always go see a Miyazaki film when they come out.
Of course.
Because that's just beautiful work. But no, like I said, you get so sick of something,
Yeah, you don't want to think about work.
But back in the day, I did used to, and it was cool when I first started getting invited to conventions because I would just go to the dealer's room and I'd be like, industry, and I'd get like 20% off stuff, and I'd just buy random DVDs if I liked the cover. Like without anyone's recommendation, I'd just buy stuff and I'd see if I liked it or not. And so yeah, I definitely can say that I feel sort of versed in it, but it's just got, I don't know. And it's funny, I've been in the industry long enough now that I've known fans when they were like at the peak of their fandom, and now they've actually outgrown and they don't like anime anymore. It's weird. Like they still talk to me, but they're like maybe I met them at a con when they were 17 or 18 years old, and they were following my career, and they like found me on Facebook or something, and now they're like 23, 24, and they're like, oh, I hardly ever watch anime, but I still think about you, and I still love this show or whatever, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. But I see how people go through phases with it, where some people stick with it always and forever, and some people, it becomes a really big part of their life for a while, and then they just move on to something else, like masturbating with socks.
It's really hard to keep the passion going as far as
socks. Oh, anime. Okay, yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you.
All right. I'm just gonna keep moving on the list of questions here.
Yes. Keep it going.
Any specific aspects of voice acting in particular that you really like, as opposed to like theater or?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool in voiceover work. You can play roles that you would never play on stage, because, I mean, I started voice acting when I was 28, so I was voicing, and I voiced 70% of the characters I voiced are like 17-year-old pretty boy mech pilots. Well, I'm never going to play that on stage, considering I was 28 when I started doing voiceover work. And like you're never going to play like, what was that one show we did where like one of us played a piece of wood and the other person was a roll of toilet paper, and like you're not going to play stuff like that like on the stage or in front of a camera, you know? I mean, voiceover work gives you all this kind of freedom to use your vocal instrument to just, your limitations are the animation and your imagination. So that's the cool part about voice acting. The cool part about theater is that you do get to use your whole body as the instrument of expression. Whereas voiceover work, it all comes from your voice. You know, that's the challenge of voice acting. But the awesome part is that you get to tell a story, and you can be anything. You can be a demon or a witch or I mean, one time I played a transsexual black magician who was evil. And, well, black. He was like a black magic practitioner who was a transsexual, and his name was Flame Soul. And I mean, you don't run into stuff like that in the theater very often.
Yeah.
So that's the cool part about voice acting.
All right, I was gonna ask you something about what type of characters you usually get cast as, but usually younger kids.
It's usually like the 17 to 25-year-old hero dude, or it's the villain who's slightly effeminate or creepy.
Yeah.
Or although Greed wasn't effeminate or creepy, I think Greed was pretty masculine and sexy for a villain. But apparently, he's like a pimp. He's the pimp villain. But like Creed Diskins and Black Cat, pretty sure he's homosexual. I'm just saying. Yeah. Yeah. No one talks about another guy that much when he doesn't have a little thing for him. I said little thing. I'm having fun because off camera, like, people are like cracking up and laughing. It's fun. Watch this. If I say doo-doo, I just made people laugh. It's so easy. That's what she said. Giggity. What's that?
Okay. This one kind of goes back to something that was discussed at one of your panels, Clean.
Oh, the Clean panel.
Yeah. Did you ever think the Panda song would be such a huge phenomenon when you were recording it?
No.
I mean, you said that you retired it pretty much.
No, I can't retire it. I would be like ostracized from ever appearing at a con again. My original plan was to retire it at NDK last night's Shares Too Much panel, because that was going to be the 1-year anniversary of the Chris Patton Shares Too Much experience, and I thought it would be a good time to put the Panda song to rest, but it's not going to happen. I mean, I would say we recorded Nerima in 2006. Just look on YouTube and put Chris Patton Panda song. You can probably pull up 15 or 20 videos just of me singing that song. And one of them has had 60,000 hits. So that tells you how... Shut up, you fucking air conditioner. So I don't even know how many times I've sung that thing, but I would guess in 3 years I've sung it. I really didn't mind the air conditioner, but y'all probably did. I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
Not sure.
But let's see. Probably 80 times in the past 3 years I've sung the Panda song in public.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, just putting it out. Do you enjoy singing it still, or you just...
It doesn't bother me. I mean, it's funny, and like I've started adding little like American Idol riffs to it and stuff, and like putting a little falsetto ending on it. You know, I'm all like Adam Lambert with it now and stuff. Yeah, I have fun with it.
All right. Are there any lines that people like specifically ask you to say a lot? Like, I know people ask you to do characters like Greed and Creed, but any lines?
Yeah, people pretty much want me to say, if it's Sosuke, they want me to say it's not a problem. And if it's Greed, sometimes they'll be like, do Greed's rant. And I'm like, I recorded that in '05. I really don't remember. And they're like, oh, well, I'll tell you. And I'm like, just let me make something up. And that's cool. But I don't mind saying it's not a problem. Or, oh, another Sosuke one is they make me say I demand a plain roll. You know, that's fine. None of that really bothers me. I think it's kind of funny. But some people get really ticked off about that. Like, they get really, their feathers really get ruffled. And I'm like, diva, calm down.
A lot of fans feel entitled to, like, they feel like the actors belong to them. Like, I don't know.
I belong to all my fans. I belong to you.
Do you ever plan on retiring from voice acting? You know, when you get to a point, and just say.
Especially now that I do so much stuff that isn't anime, like, God bless my agent, like commercials and like American animated films and stuff, and narration work for documentaries and audiobooks.
Video games or?
I haven't done video games in a while, but I've done a couple of Dragon Ball games, and would like to proudly say I have the distinction of being able to proclaim that I apparently am a featured voice in the worst RPG ever created. It's a Square Enix game.
I think I can know which one it is.
What, do you want to take a guess?
Is it Infinite Undiscovery?
Is it what?
Infinite Undiscovery.
No, but
swing and a miss.
You're close in the name though. Anyone want to guess? Anyone in the peanut gallery want to guess? I mean, several fans have told me this is like the worst game ever made.
Last Remnant?
What?
Last Remnant?
No. It's called, see, and oh god, and when I say the name, I always get a groan or like a nauseated look from someone in the room. It's a game called, I'll tell you who I played. The character is called Ventus. No? No bells are ringing?
No, nothing yet.
The game is called Unlimited Saga. I'm telling you, there's always one. There's always one. Yeah. And they're like, dude, you were in Unlimited shit? And I'm like, yes, I was. But guess what, Jack? I still took home a paycheck. And you bought the game. Oops. But, so there's that. The truth of the matter is, though, there's not a hell of a lot of video game work in the Texas area. Especially not in Houston. It's LA. I have a couple of friends that live in LA, and they practically make their living off of doing video games.
Yeah.
Very big market there. Becoming much larger than the anime market.
Well, yeah, one's kind of going down.
Yeah, going down.
That was the whole topic of the discussion, or that was the whole point of a panel that I did Friday.
Mm-hmm. It's very true.
It's definitely kind of in a dire thing. Any thoughts as far as what happened to ADV?
Well, no, because I don't really know. I mean, I'm working on 2 shows with ADV right now. It's just they're not called ADV anymore. They've like split into these splinter companies. My thoughts are, don't steal anime. That's a big thought of mine. But you know what? As much as that's a recurring theme, and I agree with it, because I like to be paid for the work I do, I also think that things move in cycles. And anime, it's never going to be as underground and as niche as it once was, but the way things were in like 04, 05, 06, where it was just like permeating culture everywhere. I mean, that can only be sustained for so long with anything like Twilight. It can only be like this much on everyone's radar so much before it has to, it's just the way things work. And I think that's one thing. I think the economy's bad. I think anime's not as popular as it used to be. And I think people steal it. And those 3 things combined, I think, are making things seem a lot more gloomy than they are. Anime is still on television. People still buy it. Look how many people are at this convention.
Yeah, the convention seems to just keep
the
growing.
Convention scene, now that's one thing. The conventions have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. They have not quit growing, even as anime has sort of taken what is probably a temporary nosedive. The conventions are ridiculous.
Yeah, I think NDK last year was at over 5,000 people.
Yeah, and I think this year it's over 7,000.
Yeah, parking was a nightmare.
Yeah, I heard about that. So the industry, I think, on the whole, and the culture is still very healthy and vibrant. I just think we've got to go through another cycle before, production ramps up again. Because ADV is not going anywhere. It's just that the name ADV doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, they explained
and it's very confusing, actually, and I still don't even understand it. I've got some work to do with them when I get back, and I don't know where I'm going to be going to work. They called me from a different phone number, and they're at a different address now. And I'm like, that's weird, okay. But Funimation's rocking, and I mean, yeah, there's definitely been some problems in the industry, but I have no idea. See, I also come from the theater, and for 12 years people have been telling us, oh, the theater's dead, no one cares about the theater, and yet every time I go to a Broadway show, it's sold out, and you pay $120 to get in, and there's... So, I mean, I don't know what people mean when they say the theater's dead. I don't know how... I come to a con, and I'm like, how bad is the anime industry really hurting? I don't know. I'm not smart enough economically and marketing-wise to know about all that, so... My thoughts on the whole ADV thing are, if I keep getting cast and paid, I'm happy. If ADV keeps existing as whatever it is, amusement park or, I don't know, Sling Blade, Leather Boy, Rough House, Bathhouse, Night, San Francisco. I don't know what it's called anymore, but yeah.
There's a ton of sub-companies now.
Yeah, you know what? As long as something's around. It's all good. Yeah,
do you think that's going to affect the amount of work you get from ADV, or?
It has drastically. I used to make my primary living from ADV films, and as of a year and a half ago, that quit. It's one of the reasons I started working a lot at Funimation again, is because despite the horrible drive to Funimation, they kind of rule the industry right now.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about that is, though, again, things move in cycles. And Funimation is not going to be the king of the hill for forever.
I remember Funimation wasn't too big even a few years ago. They were just another company now.
And now they rule the roost right now. But that's not going to last. And I think everyone who works there knows that. But hopefully they will make wise enough decisions to where it won't crash. It'll just sort of maybe even out a little.
Yeah, as far as companies go for translations, they've been doing a lot of the smarter decisions. They've been really trying to... they've been putting stuff online, making deals with Hulu and online hosting. So they're really making a lot of progress in that area.
Well, I do know that that's something that, Blockbuster, for example, never learned to do. Apparently, you have to adapt.
Yeah.
You have to adapt with the modern technology and with what's going on. And I don't know what happened with ADV. For a while, the anime network was still even going really strong, but I think that even splintered off. I don't know.
I think ADV might have been just bad accounting, bad management.
I think it was, yeah.
Because I know they pulled the plug on New Type USA, and that was a horrible idea, I think.
I did too.
I think most fans agree that too. Then they put out Peak Magazine, it lasted 3 issues. That quickly disappeared, and then they just said, forget it, we're not even going to try anymore.
Yeah, I remember that.
And,
by the way, I want this on video. He's giving me his notebook for doing this interview. So, I'm just saying. Nudity. No? Okay, so next.
This is an expensive interview for me.
Giggity.
Alright, you already answered that one. What kind of work did you do before voice acting? I know you did a lot of theater stuff. Is there anything else you can mention, as far as that? Or maybe a couple of specific...
My porn career. What? What things?
I don't know.
I mean, I've had tons of... You mean regular Joe jobs? That?
I guess. It was more so other things. I was assuming if things were exactly structured, it would flow a certain way, but yeah, not too worried about that. Things kind of just
flow.
All right.
These are my favorites over here because these people behind the cameras, they have a little more control. Like if I went, taint. Yeah, so that didn't even do anything. But over here, what if I said chocolate doo-doo train? That got a little chuckle. Yeah. Areola.
No.
Pizza. No, I don't know why I thought pizza would be funny, but I tried. Corn. This one girl's still laughing. She's my only fan, the only one left in the world. There we go. All around, now they're all laughing. Yeah, I touched my stuff.
Okay. Please.
Okay, please help, my God. Let's swim out of this murky swamp. Go, come on.
Do you want to explain?
That was like Kermit the Frog swimming.
Would you like to explain how the Chris Patton shares too much panel came to be?
It came. The way it came to be was last year, Non-DeskCon invited me to the convention. This is the secret of how the panel started. And I was like, yeah, of course I would love to return. And they were like, okay, but we want to ask you about something. What? Oh no, don't ever do that while you're interviewing somebody. That's so rude.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, it was me, really. So they were like, we want to know if you have any specialty panels that you do, because so many voice actors now are doing like some kind of specific panel on a specific subject. And I'm like, and I started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, Crispin's got his mythology, and Talison's got his occult, and Wendy's got her villains, and Monica does like hair and costumes for cosplay, and what can Chris do? And I started thinking about all these emails I'd been getting about, one of the things I love about seeing you at a con is how honest and open you are. Like that. It's the Red Bull talking. Usually I wouldn't do this, but I just think it's amusing to make these people laugh. So, Peter. So I was like, okay, so honest and open, and blah 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 blah. And I mean, it was like a red light bulb went off inside my head. And so I emailed Jeremy and Amanda, and I was like, hey, what if, I know this is considered, NDK likes to pride themselves on being a family-friendly con. I was like, and I respect that, and I realized that, but what if, make it like after 10 and 18 and up, and what if I did a panel that was like Chris Patton TMI, or Chris Patton Dirty Mouth, or Chris Patton shares too much, or Chris Patton something, and it would be a panel where I was just completely, everything on the table, balls to the wall, open, completely, no holds barred, and they loved it, they loved the idea. And so I was like, cool, let's do it, let's book it, let's make it happen. And we did, and they wrote a great description for it on their site and everything. Oh my God, and I remember like the day it came, giggity, and I was so nervous. And I remember I went up into, Vic was here with his girlfriend Michelle, and he was like doing some panel on how to bleach his hair or something like that. And then, oh, kidding! And so I went up into their room with Wendy, and Wendy and Michelle and I were sitting up there before my panel, and Wendy was like, hey Chris, I've got this airbrush makeup. Let's just make you all glam and crazy. And I'm like, just let's do it! And she starts using like airbrush makeup all over me, and Wendy starts painting like it looked like Eddie Izzard meets Annie Lennox and David Bowie and Marilyn Manson all in one crazy tall Norwegian love child. And then I started getting really nervous. I'm like, what if nobody comes, giggity? And what if nobody likes it? And what if blah 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 blah? And we get downstairs, and there's this huge ass line to get into the Aspen Theater where my panel was going to be. And I'm like, is this for my panel? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, cool. And the guy at the front was like, I've been in line for 2.5 hours. And I'm like, damn, what? And so I did it last year, and it was like really cool, and it was just pretty much off the cuff, and it was a big success, and people really enjoyed themselves. And since then I've done it like 14 more times in the past year, like all around the country, and I did it in England too. The Brits loved it. Wow, they were crazy. And so this was like the 1 year anniversary of Chris Patton Shares Too Much. And this time I was like, maybe it's not going to be as good, or like maybe people won't want to come a second time. And then like this year, people had been in line like 6 hours, and the line was like double the size, giggity. And it went, I think it went pretty well last night. But so that's the short and wonderful history of Chris Patton Shares Too Much.
Beautiful. Yeah, definitely, it's an awesome panel to check out. I was there last night myself.
Thank you.
I was kind of like on the side of the stage,
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Cool. I don't remember. Were you naked?
I was not naked.
That's why I don't remember.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's cool.
How's the panel been received? Just like, is it kind of based on region or overall?
Well, I at first I didn't want to do it when I was going to do it. I didn't want to do it when I was going to certain conventions, but they would ask for it, and I'd be like, okay. It's never been negatively received, but like there have been experiences where it wasn't quite the event that I would hope for, and one of those was like St. Louis a few weeks ago, because it was just a tiny convention. I think the cap for the attendance for the weekend was like 650, and so there were like 80 or 90 people at the Shares Too Much, maybe less than that, and they liked it. It's just that there's something about when you do it in a half-lit room with like a little bit of tech and like people all crammed in there, and everyone feeds off the energy from the panel, and that's how I'd like for it to go, and that's how it's been at most of the places. In England, the entire con came to that panel. It was awesome, and they were so funny because I thought my humor for some reason wouldn't play to them. They loved like every second of it, and then they all wanted to touch my ass after the panel. I'm not making that part up either. It was really strange. It was like all these heterosexual guys wanted to touch my butt and see what it felt like. I have no idea why. I guess it's the English way. Yay, Margaret Thatcher. That was the 80s. Tony Blair. What's Brown? Gordon Brown? Is that his name?
I think so.
The current Prime Minister? Gordon Brown? Yeah.
Sounds about right.
I love England. Not the politics, but the country.
Have there been any questions that you answered that just made you feel uncomfortable answering?
Yeah, but see, that's part of the edge of the panel. Is like the panel's premise is the people can ask whatever they want, and I'll answer it as honestly as I can, as long as they don't have to incriminate anyone else in my answers. So, and like I said last night, in England, I thought they were going to be very reserved and a bit prudish about it. And like once I finished my introduction, like 10 hands went up, and I was like, okay, you right there. How big's your dick? That was the first question, and I was like, I have to answer it now. But then it was so cute because I was like, well, I'm just gonna say that I was like, I suppose I'm pretty average in the area, and they were like, oh, what you mean average? And then I told them the numbers, the figures, and this girl goes, that is not average. You should be very happy, okay? And I had a feeling she had a little modest man back at home. Just a guess. Little English sausage bangers and mash. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah.
Are there any conventions that have just received it better than others as far as like
yes,
their openness?
I mean, there have been some highlights for me. In NTK, Kitakon in England, NakaCon in Kansas City was great, and Austin, Texas, IkiCon. Those have been the highlights. But there hasn't been any like, what are you talking about, faggot? Like, there's never been anything like that, but there's been a few, like I said, where it was just sort of lackluster and it got kind of messy. It just wasn't, I like it to sort of be it's a combination of like a honed bit of entertainment, but also it's a free form that I want everyone to feel like they can take part in it. And that's where you're walking between two worlds. because at one time you're kind of doing almost a stand-up act, but at the same time you want to do sort of an improvisational, let's get everyone involved in it.
Yeah, because like an orgy. You'd like started with a couple of musings and then just
right, like some storytelling and blah 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 blah. Kyle Abear actually came up to me today and he was like, "Have you ever thought about doing stand-up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but the idea scares the hell out of me." But when I can sort of kind of do it in the guise of that panel, I have a lot of fun. It's cool.
Has the panel ever caused any problems with other like companies like Funimation, ADV? Or
no, because I make it very clear that like there's no posting on YouTube or anything like that, and I say that you can ask me whatever you want, but I won't answer you fully or honestly if I have to defame a company I work for or something like that, because I like to work and make money. So no, I never. The only person I ever libel or slander during those things is myself. I'm not there to assassinate anyone's character or to talk crap about a company. It's just I want people to sort of be really let into my life on a personal level, and I want them to laugh, and maybe touch them.
That's for after the panel, though.
Yes. Well, it depends.
Okay, if somebody wants to show up and they can do that in the panel.
They can do that.
The security might not like them.
Might not.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see, that one got answered. So that one. I think that covers as far as like the structured questions. Anything that you just want to talk about, want to say on camera, just want to put out there?
Testicles. I knew that would work on you.
We don't run the camera, we're immature. So.
Just who watches this? Like, where does this go? Is it on the interweb?
It is on.
Is it on the World Wide Highway?
It's on the inner tubes.
I love when people act ignorant about the internet. It's like 2048, It's like, oh, dude, this is a computer. So it's just on the internet. Okay, so if anyone's watching this and you haven't seen Chris Patton shares too much, come see it when it's at a con near you.
Yeah, definitely entertaining. When's your next convention appearance scheduled? Yeah, if you know offhand.
I have 7 lined up for 9/10 right now. What is it? September? Oh, KazuriCon in Battle Creek, Michigan, October 2nd through the 4th. So if you're way up north in southern Canada, also known as Michigan, come see me there. It's a first-year con. They're going to need a lot of support. I think they've had a real healthy pre-reg, but I think they'll actually have big numbers because I'm going to be the joke. But I think they'll have big numbers just from what they've been telling me. But I mean, I think if you live near the area or in there, it's going to be a really solid event. It's going to be myself, Robert Axelrod, and Todd Haberkorn, who is at this convention. He gives a great panel on. He sort of does a combination of a great voice acting like he does a great voice acting panel with presentations about demos and auditions, and he personalizes his a little bit too. Like he won't talk about his wang doodle or anything, but he will personalize it a little bit about his life and everything and how he sort of got into everything. He gives a great panel, and he's a great guy. I love Todd, and I wish he'd take off his clothes though. But anyway, so come to that con if you're up in that part of of Palin land, meaning America. And Obama world. I don't know, whatever we are right now. I lose track from day to day. That's the secret, though. And after that, I don't have anything till YuleCon, which is in Texas, in Fort Worth, and that's in November. After that, I can't. I know. I'm going to be in England with Leah Clark. I call her Tits because they're huge. She and I are going to be in England together at KitaCon in 2010 in April. But those are the only ones I can remember right now.
Are you going to be doing your panel at the upcoming convention in Michigan?
I'm going to be doing it in Michigan. I'm going to be doing it at YuleCon, and I will be doing it again in England. In fact, England is only having me. It's funny, like I don't even think they give a fuck anymore about what I do anime-wise. I think they're just like, we want to have you back to do your dodgy late-night panel. We want. I think that's all they care about. They haven't asked me what I've been working on lately. They're like, just come back and do that panel you did. And they pay me lots of money. And they take me out and stuff, and I'm like, okay. And plus I'm bringing a girl with big tits, and they like that. But Leah Clark is very talented. She's a director and an actress at Funimation. But yeah, I'm going to be doing that panel at all the upcoming cons. There's only a couple of cons that don't ask me to do it, and I actually made it a policy now that I won't accept invitations from cons that don't ask me to do that. Because the cons have to be fun for me, and if I don't get to do that panel, I don't have fun. If I just have to do these clean panels where I'm like, I am an actor, and I am in this show, and I got into voice acting by doing that, I get bored stiff. It's like, ugh, just take me home.
Yeah, I didn't want the interview to be that entirely thing.
No, I mean, that stuff has to be covered. And even in Shares Too Much, I'm happy to talk about acting and voice acting and anime and how I got into all that kind of stuff. It's just that I don't want it. I want it to be everything. I want it to be all inclusive.
Yeah, we don't really want this to be just for family-friendly stuff, so.
Good.
That's why we don't.
Fuck! See? Took out the family-friendly right there. Woo!
That's the beauty of the internet.
That's right.
Palin can't censor it.
That's right. Or nor can Al Gore, because he invented it. Wait, that didn't make any sense. Even though he invented it, he can't censor it. That's what I meant to say. Al Gore. Is he gay? I think he might be gay.
All right, this is completely random, but I really enjoyed how you put this at the panel.
What did I say? Oh, shit.
Twilight. What are your thoughts on it?
Let me just put this out there for all you Twilight fans. Pardon my French and my vulgarity. Real vampires fucking kill. They don't sparkle and play baseball out in the woods. I'm just saying, okay? They don't wait till their honeymoon to have sex. They don't even have honeymoons. What the hell? Really? Put away your Twilight books and buy Anne Rice. Thanks.
That one might get cut separately just because that one might have to be put on YouTube. Chris Patton on Twilight.
I mean, Twilight.
There's no reason why it should have been so popular.
Well, it's because all these little girls and soccer moms want to hump Edward Cullen. Guess what? He's not real. And there's no guy on earth that's like that. Because if there were a vampire that were that sexy and amazing and everything, he'd be fucking and killing. Not like, I want to wait till we're married to make love to you and my nipples sparkle in the woods. Shut the hell up. Lestat's gonna come around and kill your ass.
Oh, yeah, I'm not a big Twilight fan.
You an Anne Rice fan?
I haven't read it, but I know about it, and I agree vampires are not supposed to be sparkly. They're not supposed to be that.
They're not sweet.
They're vampires. They feed off of humans.
Candy is sweet. Vampires aren't.
Anything you want to plug? Any insider?
Giggity. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
There's Todd Habercorn. Oh, man, he's straight. Crispin Freeman, he's straight too. Crispin's hilarious. We were at a con last year, and I mean, he knows how I am and everything. I love Crispin. He's intelligent and attractive and talented and intelligent and attractive. But we were joking around one day, and he was like, oh, and he was getting kind of serious. He's like, the truth is, Chris, everybody. When it comes right down to it, everyone has their price. And I looked at him and I went, really, Crispin? And he went, Chris, talk to my agent. And I was like, damn, I can't afford you. I'm sorry. But, yeah, as far as what's up with hot straight guys being everywhere? It drives me nuts. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, what do I want to plug? I've got a whole bunch of stuff coming out, but I can't talk about a lot of it. A lot of it is unannounced still.
What's up with The Secret?
Oh, well, I'm kind of starting to... Oh, what happened here? Hold on. Oh, good. Oh, God, closing ceremonies in 40 minutes. I'm on this big, well, it started out, I was on this big manifestation kick. Ever since last NDK, actually, and Wendy and I started talking a lot about manifestation and how Crispin was hardcore into that and some other people. And I was like, oh... I mean, I know what you're talking about, but I've never really researched it. And then I was like, I need to grab my own life by the balls and take control of it. And so that's how I started getting this. So this for me is really just sort of a general topic that's, anyway, it's a general topic for me. But then what happened was it's that led me into different avenues of spirituality. Which I sort of started to, my theory that a lot of people seem to echo is that magic, and I put it in quotes only because a lot of people don't like that word, is just a birthright of human beings. And so, but that once I started studying manifestation and mind reality and the secret and the law of attraction, that got me into actual magic and spell work and spell casting and sort of more esoteric or old religion stuff. And I started studying. That's how the whole thing last night came about. That's not very Wiccan, because when Wendy and I were on the plane, she saw my Wicca books and stuff like that, and she made the comment, "Oh, that sounds too hard. I'm just going to stick to being a bitter old Christian," which I thought was a very funny comment. But anyway, and ever since I've been into the old time religions, it's kind of cool because I've become way more tolerant. I reached a point where I was like almost despising Christians, and I was sort of an agnostic believer in some higher power. And now like I feel a lot more in touch with the earth and my fellow human beings, and I really don't care what political affiliation anyone is, and I don't care what religious affiliation anybody is. We're all we're all peepers. I'm a peeper when I'm in the gym. I'm kidding. But we're all people, and so but the Secret is sort of like, my only problem with The Secret is it's the same thing as spellcasting, except the problem with The Secret for me is that it doesn't involve spirituality or altruism necessarily. Like, I think if you're going to try and make things manifest from the etheric plane onto the physical plane, they should be yeah, we all need money, and if you want to do a spell or manifestation for $1 billion, go ahead. I don't think there's anything wrong with having money, but I always think that you should have, once you've taken care of yourself, I think you have to have other people in mind. I think what's happened is for so many years we got it sort of backwards. We tried to take care of everyone else before we took care of ourselves as individuals. So people started damaging themselves. So I think now everyone's very much into their self, me, and that's just as bad. But I think if you balance it with taking care of yourself and your fellow human being, then, so anyway, I guess I can kind of like publicly say that I practice magic and I study Wicca, though I don't consider myself a Wiccan because I'm studying all forms of magic, like alchemy and shamanism and the Hermetic path and ritual magic and everything. Anything that's not left hand, which left hand is like if you believe in like devils and Luciferianism and all that stuff. That's not part of my radar. But because I want to label myself an eclectic pagan, and the only way you can honestly do that is by studying every form of magic that's out there. And even the word pagan for me is weird because even though I understand how you can view the divine and everything, I think in my head, I still kind of believe there's only one force out there, and that's probably why monotheism is so popular, because I think that just makes sense to people. But to me, the idea of gods and goddesses is cool. I'm just not sure right now. I'm sort of like kind of all over the map with my beliefs, so I just consider myself an eclectic pagan. Your cameraman is trying to tell us something. Fist 4 fists, fist of the North Star, fist fuck. No?
Okay, 13 minutes.
Oh, okay, 13 minutes. 13, a very important number in Wicca because there are 13 moon cycles to the year.
Do we want to have some fun? 13 minutes out?
Anything you want to just directly say to camera? Something that you wouldn't just...
No.
No.
Be excellent to each other. Vote Palin Obama 2012. Wouldn't that be a great ticket?
It would be an interesting year.
It would, and then like Palin Obama versus Michael Savage and Britney Spears. I'm a genius.
Who would win that fight?
Palin Obama. Palin's a tough cookie.
Would it be a fist fight or?
No, it would be a verbal war, which is why Britney would lose sorely, because Michael Savage would be carrying all the verbal weight. As much as you may dislike or like Michael Savage, he's a genius with words. See, so he would be carrying Britney's dirty nay-nay everywhere, like as it's hanging out of cabs and everything, and he'd be trying to take care of that. But then Obama, he would be making empty promises while Palin would be field dressing him. So it would just get very confusing. And then everyone would get sick and we wouldn't know what to do as far as healthcare goes because the issue can't be solved. So it would just be a big mess and everyone would lose in the end. 2012, end of the world, Mayan calendar, ayo. I don't really think the world's ending in 2012. I do think we're going to have a paradigm shift though.
Well, people are going to be like, oh, well, the world hasn't ended yet. What now?
No, well, right, but I don't think it's gonna. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's gonna be like 2000. I think something is gonna happen, but I think it's gonna be something more on a spiritual level than like. I don't think like God help us if the poles shift or something like that. That's gonna be mass death and destruction. So, but I don't think that's the kind of thing that's gonna go on.
Yeah, no, this guy's not going to fall.
What's the secret? What's the secret? The secret is you and Betty Crocker can make someone happy.
We're going for all kinds of sponsorships here.
That's right.
I have time to plug Red Bull, do a nice little...
You can ask me anything you want for wrap up. I don't care.
Yeah. This interview would have been this would have been much more awkward if I was like, "Have you found Jesus?"
What, in the trunk?
I see, like most people who believe in the same stuff I believe in, they believe Jesus was an ascended master, and they believe he was a very powerful magician, and they believe he was a prophet. And I don't know what I believe, but I come from a Catholic family who I love and adore, but the Catholic faith for me, it didn't fulfill my spiritual needs. I was baptized Catholic, I was an altar boy, I was never molested by a priest, just putting that out there. And my family, very devout Catholics, but it just never rang with me. And I went through my whole New Age phase in the 90s, and then I ended up thinking that was all too airy-fairy. And then I always kind of thought Wicca was like, but now, I don't know, just something has happened, and I'm like, I feel like a completely different person. It's like I had a spiritual douche.
Refreshing.
Yes, it's lovely.
Have you ever been to Japan?
No.
Okay.
Do you want to go?
A lot of people are Japanophiles, and I'm a Europhile. My joy, you know what? If I could retire in Ireland, I would be like the happiest homo on earth. Like, I'm fascinated with Europe in general, and I want to go to Italy, and I want to go to all the like Scandinavian, all the heroin homo places up there, like the ABBA places. And then, I don't know, Japan, I only want to see the countryside. I don't want to mess with the cities in Japan, because I can't imagine, I lived in New York for a while, and I just can't imagine all the congestion. I think Japan is probably really beautiful. I would only want to see the countryside. Not Shibuya or Kyoto or Tokyo or where I'd wig out. I would wig out. I'd have to have like super Japanese Xanax on me. Japanese Xanax. Calm down. Have y'all heard Todd Habercorn imitate his Vietnamese mother?
No.
Oh my god, it's so funny. He's like, "What the hell, son? What the hell? You got too many dog. Why you have so many dog, Todd? What the hell?" So funny. Love it.
Okay, just more random stuff. What's your favorite drink? Alcoholic.
I don't drink that much, but when I do, it's Di Serono. Gay, I know, but get over it. Di Serono on the rocks, Di Serono sour, Di Serono, and Irish coffee. Like a Nutty Irishman or something like that. Giggity, nutty. But that's what I'm into, alcoholically. I'm from Texas, and I've never had a beer in my life. I think the smell of beer is disgusting. I think the look of beer, that I've tasted beer, it's like, and I know everyone says this, and I know the follow-up is, well, how would you know? It's what I imagine piss would taste like. So I have just beer, and boy, let me tell you, not only am I a Texan who doesn't drink, I'm a vegetarian Texan. Whoa, look out. Gay, vegetarian, non-beer drinking Texan. Oh my god, like scared. But you know what? Aaron Dismuke is a vegetarian. He's 16 though, he'll probably grow out of it, be very disappointing. Anyway, so I don't drink beer and I don't eat barbecue. Oh, but here at the con they had barbecued tofu. Get out of town. It was so good. The little chunks of tofu that were barbecued. Just saying.
Alright, if you don't like beer, give Belgium a shot.
I had some great beer in the UK. It was like cider.
Yeah.
It was really good. They were like, "You like this, Patton, you like this." By the way, cons in England, they all revolve around the pub. Because you can drink at 18 in England. And to get into a con in England, you have to be 16. 16 is the legal age of consent for sex, and 18 is the legal age of consent for drinking. So I guess all the 16-year-olds are upstairs fucking, and all the 18-and-ups are in the pub. Like, this con centers around the pub. If you're not in a panel, or not at the rave, or whatever, you're around the pub. And the Brits loved me because I would sit in the pub and talk with them and like drink with them and be like, "Doji, doji, penis, doji, doji, butt, doji, what, doji, doji." So, Yeah, and they got me there. They wanted to get me drunk, and I was like, it's easy. I'm a lightweight. I have zero tolerance. And one night they bought me like 4 D's drunk. I was fucked up. But they got me to try some beer one night, and I liked it actually. It was like apple cider, some shit.
Yeah,
Biodynamic.
yeah, there's a lot of different stuff. Belgium believes in like really.
I want to go to Belgium.
Beer for everyone to try. Yeah,
That's
so.
where Dr. Evil's from. No, I want to go to Belgium. I want to go to Belgium. I want to go to Amsterdam.
Sweden.
I want to go to Sweden.
Visit the panel. You'll know a lot more about that.
You think so too?
Well, it looks like we are.
Well, I have to go anyway because I have to go to closing ceremonies.
Yeah,
So
we are
5 minutes.
entirely out of time. So
5 minutes. I can just 5 minutes. I don't think you'll be able to use it, but you know.
You wanna,
we'll find some use for
They'll be like, oh wait, that's the secret.
Here, I'm gonna zoom in on you now.
Oh. Come on, Oprah, give me money.
Turn the
There
can.
you go.
Come on, Oprah, give me money. You fat ass billionaire, come on.
Okay, well, we are out of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anime root rhymes with Beirut. I'm a fruit. I love it. I could keep going, but I'm gonna stop. Okay, so I'm going to closing ceremonies.
We had
Thank you.
All right.